Okay, and welcome back everybody. What do we have here? This is Vevor's answer to the current new mini chainsaw craze, and is more especially the mini chainsaw on a pole craze. These things are so handy. And this one telescopes as well, and it has the detachable mini chainsaw that comes off the end. And you can adjust the angle of it. As you can see there, it's at 90 degrees right now, but I'll angle that forward in a second. It is a 20 volt 4 amp hour battery, and it has a nice thick handle on it, nice thick feel. Okay, and as I mentioned, the saw detaches, and what you have to do is you move the battery from the base of the pole over to the base of the handheld unit, and then you can use it as a handheld unit. So you don't have to use a separate hand saw or loppers or something like that for after you cut down the big branch and you have to reduce it down in size. You can use the same tool, same part of the same tool to do your reducing, and that is really handy. So what I'll do now is I'll straighten out the as I mentioned there's your adjustment. You press your button and you have different settings there that you can change it to, and all different angles. And I'll set it out straight, and then we'll telescope it out so that you can see how long it is. Alrighty, there we go, fully extended. And I did fail to, hopefully I'm putting it on the screen, but I failed to read on how far that is extended, but it looks like about 7.5 feet. And that'll be handy for getting up there to the higher reaching branches. Now, something in particular about this saw, as you know, I've been reviewing a few of these, and the last one didn't have this little cap. What that is a self-oiling reservoir. And so the previous one that I did it's a good saw, but it's didn't have any oiling reservoir at all, and you just had to keep on spraying the blade with WD-40. It's really handy to have onboard lubrication. Really, really handy. And so on. So let me set this back up on the wall, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so here's a look at the way it comes in the box, and look at the size of the box. This is a 5-foot long box, and I'm always excited to see a box that big on a big item, because that means that there's a good possibility it's fully assembled. And in this particular case, it is fully assembled. Let me just go over a few things here. Now, I of course opened it already because I had to get the battery out of there to charge it up to be ready to do the video today. So the battery came in this little box and wrapped in this bubble wrap, and then the charger came in this bag. And now that's a special note. So like the charger down there, that's the battery. It's plugged into the charger. And at first glance, you will find the battery right about there, and then you won't be able to find the charger. The charger is going to be in this separate box here where the handheld unit is. Just in case you can't find it, open that box and you'll find it. It came with no charge. The battery was not charged, and now we have this button here where you can check to see the level, and you can see we are fully charged now and ready for filming. And let's just go over what comes in the box. The instructions are in this separate bag here with a set of gloves. It's always welcome. And down there they give you safety goggles. And the main pole is still wrapped in bubble wrap, but already I can see if there's any assembly, there's no reason for assembly. Anyway, that's all wrapped up there. This is of course probably the top of it, and I'll get it out in a second. And inside this box you have the actual saw, which of course is a handheld unit that clamps onto the top of the, and we'll find out whatever that is down there. And then this is neat. It actually comes with, this is to fill the oil reservoir, but it comes with oil. That's always nice. Anyway, let's get everything out of the box and see if we have to assemble anything. Okay, and so here's the first look at it. As I suspected, this is the top of it. You can see there the handheld unit slides right onto the... Okay, here's something really important to mention here. I was putting the saw on the end of the pole and we have a total mismatch. It's not going on. Figured out quickly though, this is an adapter that's on the end of the saw. As you can see there, we've got another big orange button, or whatever color that is. And you press that button and the adapter comes off, and I'll show you that. In there, and then locks with that clip, and then on the back, it's got this second latch that's going to hold it on there tight. And we'll get that on there in a second. This is a clip to extend, to allow you to extend it out, telescope it out. And then there's the main saw itself. And I just picked this up. And the handle on it is nice and wide. It's got a nice big, thick feel to it. And that's what I was seeing down there at the bottom of the box, is just the bottom guard of the trigger. And there's a look at it. I took the sheath off of it, and as you can see here, it is self-lubricating. You just fill the reservoir and you don't have to spray it constantly. So that looks really good. Then over here on the other end is the main trigger with safety, and the battery just clips right onto the end there. And I took the battery off the charger so you can see what it looks like separately. And that is all that was in the bag: a set of gloves and the instructions, and then some safety glasses. So, as I suspected, no assembly whatsoever. So it is ready to go, other than, you know, this is detachable anyway. Just put that on, and here we go. So, we'll put it together and take a look at it. Okay, now we got the saw on there, but then we're running into the same thing on the end of the pole. As you can see here, this is not the receiver for the battery. That is the receiver for the adapter. So you put the adapter on and then the battery, and then you can power it. Okay, so here's step 1. And step 2. Now we're all ready to go. And the only thing left to do really is to take it out and demonstrate it. So I'll take it to a few yards. We've got some trimming projects today, and we'll try it out. Okay, I have just filled up the reservoir with the bottle provided. Just wanted to show that it's got a very narrow tip that fits in there good. It is dripping, but I'm hoping it's gonna kind of stop dripping. Anyway, we're out here on location. We're getting ready to get started. We are going to do the first try with this. Is going to be some palm trees. Where are they? What am I looking at? Right there. These are not very big palm trees, queen palms. A lot of dead branches on there. We got 2 of them to do. This one over here and this one over here. And we'll see if I can reach them from the ground. If not, we'll be showing how to use this thing on a ladder. But I wanted to mention really quick, now why would you even want the head to pivot like that, like down to like a 90-degree level? And we learned that on the last one that I reviewed. It's to get to the far side of the branch, because branches generally fall the opposite way from where they're getting cut. So if you have a branch up against the house, you want to get to the other side of it to get it to fall away from the house. And we'll see if there's a situation where I need to do that on this one, but it doesn't look like it. So we will be using it pretty much just like this. So let's get started. Okay, that went very well. As you can see, it's no problem. Actually, I wanted to mention, you may have just seen me using it with one hand, and it is very easy to use with just one hand. It's not very heavy at all. And I wanted to point out, you saw me switching hands as well. I wanted to point out that there is the safety button next to the trigger is on both sides. So if you're right or left-handed, or you have a need to keep on going back and forth, you can do that. And so this palm tree is just about out of reach. It's right at the limit where I was standing on the ground, but I had to hold it up over my head. I'll have to review the footage myself to see how awkward that looked, but it didn't feel awkward. Just want to point that out. If you saw me fighting with something over here, there's a seed spray in there, and couldn't quite get it. With the agility of this, I'm going to give it another try from this side and see if I can get that down, so that, because what will happen is that will blossom with a whole bunch of little blooms and it'll get covered in bees, and so I want to see if I can get that off of there. And then we'll move on to the next tree. Alright, I got it. And yes, as you can imagine, these things sometimes you don't want to be standing right underneath them because they are spears. But we got that out of there. And now I think that at this point we need to take the handsaw off of the pole and transfer the battery and show how we can take the boots off. This bottom part of a palm frond, after the truck passes, and even before the truck passes, it's still called a palm tree boot, but we have to remove these from them, and then the rest of them can kind of fold up for bundling, but we gotta trim all the boots off. Okay, that worked out really well. So now we've got this pile of the thicker stuff and this pile of the thinner stuff, and we just put it in piles and tie a rope around it and put it out for the trash. So at this point I will put the mini saw back on the pole, and we'll go trim that other tree, which is quite a bit shorter, and so it should go quite a bit faster. Okay, so we have trimmed as much as we can off this one. We've got some pods here. We've got that sitting there right there. Now that is a seed spray pod that has not opened yet, and this is what they look like some kind of medieval weapon. And that is at about 4 feet long and weighs a good 20-25 pounds. And the thing is, I can't trim that off because of where it might fall. We've got some intermixed in between here. We've got some plants that you want to keep, some nicer plants, and so you can't just let it fall. So how do you get something like that? Well, you got to basically be up on a ladder and have one hand on it so you can direct its fall, or try to hold on to it as you cut it, or you erect a kind of a platform over the plants so that when it falls it hits the platform. And I've done that in the past. I don't have something like that right now, and I'm not sure if I could really swing holding on to one side of that, so we're gonna wait for it to open and cut it then, and I'll bring some kind of a platform to span over the plants for where it falls. Okay, but that is about it for that, and it'll be the same thing. We're gonna cut the boots off of these with the hand saw and then bundle them up and move on to the next one. Speaking of the next one, let's move on to the next one. We've got a crepe myrtle to trim. That should be a pretty good challenge for it. Okay, here we are at the next location. This is the crepe myrtle I was talking about. It is a very big one, and I've already been working on it a little bit last week, and we're going to finish it up today. It just turned out to be so big that I couldn't get rid of all the stuff in 1 week. But these branches, of course, you're cutting them way down to where you can see they've been trimmed, and at that point they're somewhere between 1 inch and 3 inches. And right there is where we're going to give this a test. That one on the left there is a pretty solid 2.5 inches. And we'll be taking those 3 branches off as a test for this. And let's see how that goes. Okay, so now I'm up on a ladder. I'm showing the cut we just made. Just wanted to show the size of it. About 3 inches across. And you saw it bind a little bit. That's because I went into it too fast, and it kind of hinged on this branch over there. But, you know, you watch what you're doing and that won't happen. But I was going to say, if you saw how awkward it was, because of this type of tree and the way these really need to be cut straight across, because that's how you trim these, it would be better to just use the handheld, and I've got that. I brought it up here with me, and I wanted to show you getting a fresh cut, because it's really not supposed to be at an angle like that. So we're going to cut this straight across to demonstrate this better. So here we go. And again, that's just because of this type of tree, or if you're topping any kind of tree, it's, you know, you got to cut them straight across, you know, what do you call it, horizontal. Anyway, I'm going to cut the rest of this with, I'm up on the ladder, I'm going to do the rest of it with the handheld up on the ladder. Okay, I just wanted to give you an update on the battery. You know how much we've trimmed today? I wanted to show the status. We still have 3 out of 4 bars. So, I don't know if we'll have enough battery to do all of this here, but it looks good. Looks like we will. But I wanted to show you this other thing. Now, all chainsaws, the chain will get loose as you use them. And in the old days, you had these 2 bolts that you had to undo and the screw to tension it up, but watch this. This is neat. All you do is loosen this. See that? It's on a spring, and now your chain is tight. So just loosen that, let it tighten up by itself, and then tighten it up again, and you're good to go. Actually, there is one more on the side right there that I can get with the pole, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so it looks like I am going to run out of time here, and I'm not going to be able to finish it, but it did do quite a bit, gotta say. And let's look at the battery. Let's see the power level. There we go. We are, well, it's still showing 3 bars. Okay. Well, I'm convinced that it would have finished the whole job. This is a larger than normal job, and it's just going to take another day. But we can finish up this video here. I'm going to say I definitely do like it. It's got a much more solid feel than all of the other ones that I have. It's like really got a quality feel. I would like it to extend out farther, but it is what it is. I think that's what's making it so light. Rather than having 3 sections, it only has 2 sections, and you can get up pretty far, but that is what's helping it be really light, really easy to handle, and it worked out really good. So anyway, if you want to go get one, there's a link in the description, and there'll be a link on the first top pinned comment, and go check it out. They're not very expensive, and it is a good quality product. Alright, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.